Hello everyone, welcome to continentaL Update, where we update you on things you know and what you don't know around Africa and the world. Today we are going to talk about Egypt. What was Egypt called before? What was Egypt called before? Ancient Egyptians called their homeland Kemet. Kemet meaning black land. It refers to the dark, fertile soil left behind after flooding from the Nile land of Egypt. Egypt's land shares borders with Libya to the west, Sudan to the south, and Israel to the northeast. Most experts and media sources estimated approximately 90% of the population is Sunni Muslim and 10% is Christian. There are also small numbers of Dawoodi, Bohra Muslims, and Ahmadi Muslims. When we come to staple food, the best in Egypt is called koshari. The best in the country is a mixture of rice, lentils, and macaroni, and it is considered as the best dish nationwide. The current president of Egypt is Abdel Fattah Said Hussein Khalil. He is an Egyptian politician and retired military officer who has served as the sixth and current president of Egypt since 2014. From 525 BCE, non-African rulers controlled Kemet, which became known as Egypt under the Macedonians' rule. The name Mizraim is the original name given for Egypt in the Bible. In the Hebrew Old Testament, many Bibles will have a footnote next to the name Mizraim, explaining that it means Egypt. The Jewish belief that Torah shows how God wants Jews to live. It contains 613 commandments, and Jews refer to the 10 best known of these as the 10 statements. Torah, the name given to the 5 books of Moses that come to the very beginning of the Hebrew Bible. Most Egyptians were probably descendants from settlers who moved to the Nile Valley in prophetic and pro-historic times, with population increase coming through natural fertility. In various periods, there were immigrants from Nubia, Libya, and especially the Middle East. They were historically significant and also may have contributed to the population growth, but their numbers were unknown. Most people lived in villages and towns in the Nile Valley and Delta. Dwellings were normally built of mud brick and have long since disappeared beneath the rising water table or beneath modern town sites, thereby showing evidence for settlement patterns. As now, the most favored location of settlement was on lightly raised ground near the river bank, where transport and water were easily available and flooding was unlikely. Until the first millennium BCE, Egypt was not urbanized as Mesopotamia. Instead, a few centers, notably Memphis and Thebes, attracted population, and particularly the elites, while the rest of the people were relatively evenly spread over the land. The size of the population has been estimated as having risen from 1 to 1.5 million in the 3rd millennium BCE to perhaps twice that number in the late 2nd millennium and 1st millennium BCE. Much higher levels of population were reached in Roman times. Egypt achieved full formal independence in 1952, and it finally broke free of all British influence after the war in 1956. During this period, Britain was supplanted by the USA as the dominant power in the Middle East, and American power was the main context in which post-colonial Egypt developed. The British occupation saw an increase in archaeological field work, tourism, and irrigation projects to boost Egypt's cotton production and exportation. Egypt declared independence in 1922, although British did not withdraw all its troops until after 1956. The ancient Egyptians worshipped over 2,000 gods and goddesses. Cleopatra, Egypt's last pharaoh, lived closer to our time than to the building of the pyramids at Giza. Ancient Egyptian bakers sometimes kneaded bread dough with their feet. Wow! It is also one of the most famous civilizations in history. The ancient Egyptians built huge pyramids, temples, palaces, and tombs. Their painting and carvings are among the most splendid ever created. They also produce art with simple scenes of everyday life, work, and play that shows many details of their lives. So, if you don't know, now you know. Kindly subscribe to support the channel. Thank you, and this is continentaL Update. Thank you for watching.